Hello everyone, it's nice to meet you again. In this video, we are going to discuss mechanics paper 42 May June 2024. Question 1. A cyclist and bicycle have a total mass of 72 kilograms. The cyclist rides along a horizontal road against a total resistance force of 28 newtons. Find the total work done by the cyclist to increase his speed from 8 meter per second to 16 meter per second while traveling a distance of 100 meters. So for this question, we are going to use the work and energy conservation formula. The formula is the work done by the driving force minus the work done by resistance is equal to the change in potential energy plus the change in kinetic energy. So the work done by driving force minus the resistance force 28 newtons times the distance traveled 100 meters. And then because the cyclist cycle on a horizontal road, there is no change in potential energy. Therefore, the delta PE is 0. And then for the change in kinetic energy, we use formula half times the mass 72 kilograms times V squared minus U squared. So 16 squared minus 8 squared. So the work done by driving force minus 2,800 is equal to 6,912. The work done by driving force is equal to 9,712 joules. Question 2. A particle P moves in a straight line. At time t seconds after leaving a point O on the line, P has velocity v meter per second, where v is equal to 44 minus 60 squared minus 36. A. Find the set of values of t for which the acceleration of the particle is positive. So acceleration is the first derivative of velocity. So the differentiation of 44t minus 60 squared minus 36 is 44 minus 12t. Since the acceleration is positive, then 44 minus 12t is greater than 0. So negative 12t is greater than negative 44. T is less than 11 over 3 seconds. So the set values of t where the acceleration is positive is 0 less than or equal to t less than 11 over 3 seconds. Part B. Find the two values of t at which P returns to O. So first we need to find the position or the displacement of the particle from O at t seconds. To find S from velocity, we need to use integration. So integral 44t minus 60 squared minus 36 dt is 22t squared minus 3t cubed minus 36t plus c. Since the particle when t equals 0 is at origin s equal to 0, then the value of c is also equal to 0. So S has formula 22t squared minus 2t cubed minus 36t. And then the time when P returns to O means that the S is equal to 0. So 22t squared minus 3t cubed minus 36t is equal to 0. And then we do the factorization. And then from the factors, we know that t equals 0, t minus 2 is equal to 0, t is equal to 2 seconds, or t is equal to 9 seconds. Question 3. For coplanar forces of magnitude P newtons, 10 newtons, 16 newtons, and 2 newtons act at a point in the direction shown in the diagram. It is given that the forces are in equilibrium. Find the values of theta and P. Since the system is in equilibrium, then we can say that the net force in x direction is equal to 0. In x direction, we have 10 cos 25 minus 2 cos 40 degrees, minus because the x component of the 2 Newton force is to the left, and then minus 16 sine theta is equal to 0. Special for the last force, the 16 Newton force, for the x component we are using sine theta because the angle given is made with the y-axis. As you can see here, the theta is made with y-axis. So the x component we are using sine theta. And then for the y component we are using cos theta. So solving this equation in x direction, we can find that sine theta is equal to 0.472. Theta is 28.1 degrees. And then now we can make the second equation using the net force in y direction is equal to 0. In y direction we have P upward, and then negative 10 sine 25 degrees, negative because downward. All these forces, the y component is downward. That's why we use negative here. For the 10 Newton force, 2 Newton force, and 16 Newton force, all of them, the y component directed downward. And then for the 16 Newton force, the y component, as in this diagram, the y component is the adjacent side. We use cos theta. And then since the theta has been found before, then we can insert the value of theta here. So negative 16 cos 28.1 degrees. So solving the second equation in y direction, we can find the value of P is equal to 19.6 Newton. Question 4. A car has mass 1,400 kilograms. When the speed of car is v meter per second, the magnitude of the resistance to the motion is k v squared Newton, where k is a constant. The car moves at a constant speed of 24 meter per second up a hill inclined at an angle of alpha to the horizontal, where sine alpha is equal to 0.12. At this speed, the magnitude of the resistance to the motion is 480 newtons. A. Find the value of K. Now, since the resistance is a function of velocity or speed, in which the resistance to the motion has formula kv squared, so to find the value of K, we can equate kv squared to 480 Newton. And then V is 24 meter per second. So K times 24 squared is equal to 480. So K is equal to 5/6. Part B. Find the power of the car's engine. Since the car moves at constant speed, we can say that the net force on the car is equal to 0. But the car moves up a hill. The car moves up a hill at an angle of alpha to the horizontal. We need to draw the diagram first. This is the free body diagram for the car. The car is on a hill inclined at angle alpha, in which sine alpha is equal to 0.12. There is driving force on the car, and there are two forces that resist the motion. The first is the resistance force, and the second is Wx. So according to this diagram, the net force in x direction is equal to 0. The equation is the driving force minus the resistance force minus Wx is equal to 0. So the driving force minus the resistance is given from the question. It is 480 Newton. And then Wx is W sine alpha. Sine alpha is 0.12. So solving this equation, we can find that the driving force is equal to 2160 Newton. Once we find the driving force, now we can find the power of the car's engine. The power can be found using formula driving force times speed. So it is 2160 times the speed is 24. So the power of the car's engine is 51,840 watt. And then for part B, the car now moves at constant speed on a straight level road. Given that its engine working at 54 kilowatt, find this speed. So the power of the car is 54,000 watt. The driving force in terms of V is 54,000 divided by V. And then since in this question the car also moves at constant speed, we can say that the net force is equal to 0. The driving force minus the resistance force is equal to 0. The driving force in terms of V is 54,000 divided by V. And then the resistance force also is a function of the speed. K is 5/6 kv squared. So multiply both sides of the equation by 6v. We can simplify the equation into 324,000 minus 5v cubed is equal to 0. So v is equal to 40.2 meter per second. So now we continue to question number 5. A particle of mass 0.8 kilograms lies on a rough plane which is inclined at an angle of 28 degrees to the horizontal. The particle is kept in equilibrium by a force of magnitude T newtons. This force acts at an angle of 35 degrees above a line of greatest slope of the plane. See the diagram. The coefficient of friction between the particle and the plane is 0.2. Find the least and greatest possible values of T. So now we complete the diagram. The weight of the particle is 8 newtons since the mass is 0.8 kilogram. And then this weight can be splitted into Wx, 8 sine 28 degrees, it's equal to 3.756 Newton. And Wy, perpendicular to the plane, Wy is 8 cos 28 degrees, it's equal to 7.0464 Newton. And then since Tx is not parallel to the plane, we have to split T into X component parallel to the plane and Ty perpendicular to the plane. Tx is T cos 35 degrees, it's equal to 0.819 T. And Ty is T sine 35 degrees is equal to 0.574 T. And then to find the normal force, we can use the fact that the object is equilibrium in y direction, perpendicular to the plane. So sigma Fy is equal to 0 and plus Ty minus Wy is equal to 0. So the normal contact force is equal to this one still in terms of T, 7.064 minus 0.574 T. And then for the least value of T, it means that the T is as small as possible. The particle is at a point about to move down the plane. So because the particle as a point of moving down the plane, it means that the friction is up the plane, since friction is always oppose the direction of the motion. The friction itself can be found using formula mu times n. So 0.2 is the coefficient of friction. The normal contact force is 7.064 minus 0.574 newtons. And then using this diagram, now in x direction, the net force in x direction is also equal to 0 because the particle is in equilibrium. In x direction, the equation will be Tx 0.8 819T minus the friction force, plus the friction force, and then minus Wx is equal to 0. And then we can solve this equation for T. So 0.7042 T is equal to 2.3432. So the tension is equal to 3.33 newtons. And then for the greatest value of T, the diagram is 90% the same as the previous one. The only thing that different here is that since the T is as big as possible, the particle tends to move up, so the friction force is down the plane. So now I change the direction of the friction. Previously I draw the friction up the plane, now I change it to down the plane. While the other data remain the same. Now using this diagram in x direction, the equation become 0.819T or Tx minus the friction force minus Wx is equal to 0. So solving this equation for T, we can find that the value of T is 5.54 newtons. Question 6. 3 particles A, B, and C of masses 5 kilograms, 1 kilogram, and 2 kilograms respectively lie at rest in that order on a straight, smooth horizontal track XYZ. Initially, A is at X, B is at Y, and C is at Z. Particle A is projected toward B with a speed of 6 meters per second, and at the same instant, C is projected toward B with a speed of V meter per second. In the subsequent motion, A collides and coalesces with B to form particle D. Particle D then collides and coalesces with C to form particle E, and E moves toward Z. A. Show that after the second collision, the speed of C is 15 minus V over 4 meter per second. So this is the diagram to describe the situation stated in the question. So we have 3 particles A, B, and C. A moves toward B with speed 6 meter per second. B is at rest, and C move with speed V meter per second, also toward B. Now for the first collision between particle A and B, we use the momentum conservation law. The equation will be MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MDVD, because after collision, A coalesced with B and formed particle D. So 5 times 10 plus 0, because particle B is at rest, is equal to the combined mass between A and B is 6 kilogram times VD. So VD is 5 meter per second. Now the second collision between particle D that move with speed 5 meter per second to the right with particle C that move with speed V meter per second to the left. So now the collision between D and C using the same law. MdUd plus McUc is equal to Me times Ve. So 6 times 5 plus 2 times negative V. We put negative sign here because particle C is moving to the left. Remember that momentum is vector quantity, so we need to consider the direction. And then the total mass between D and C is 8 kilogram. So 6 plus 2. The mass of particle C is 2 kilograms. So VE is equal to 15 minus V divided by 4 after we simplify. So it is shown. Part B. The total loss of kinetic energy of the system due to the two collisions is 63 joules. Use the result from A to show that V is equal to 3. So first, find the kinetic energy of the system before the collision. This one is the kinetic energy of particle A. Half times the mass is 5. Initially A moved with speed 6 meter per second. So half times 5 times 6 square. Plus half times 2 times V square. So initially C, this one is the kinetic energy of particle C. Particle C initially moved with speed V meter per second. So the total kinetic energy of the system before collision is 90 plus V square. And then the total kinetic energy of the system after collision. After collision, all objects coalesce to object E with total mass 8 kilograms and the speed, as we have found before, the speed is 15 minus V over 4. So the total kinetic energy of the system after collision is half times mass times 15 minus V divided by 4 square. And then we expand it and simplify the fraction into 225 minus 30V plus V squared over 4. And then the question says that the total loss of kinetic energy is 63 joule. So we equate, we find the difference between the kinetic energy initial and kinetic energy final, and then equate the result with 63. To simplify the fraction, we multiply both sides of the equation by 4. So the equation become 360 plus 4V squared minus, we can cancel the 4 here, minus 225 plus 30V minus V squared. And don't forget to multiply the 63 by 4 also. Yeah, the result is 252. So solving this quadratic equation, we can find that V is equal to 3. So we have shown what the question asked us to show. Part C. It is given that the distance xy is 36 meters and the distance yz is equal to 98 meters. I find the time between the two collisions. So first, the collision between A and B. First, we need to find the time A takes to move from A to B. Since A move with speed 6 meters per second and the distance between A B is 36 meters, so the time taken by A to move from A to B, from X to Y, is equal to 36 divided by 6. It is 6 seconds. And then during these 6 seconds, C move 3 times 6 or equal to 18 meters to the left. So now we draw new diagram, this one. Now A and B collide. After collision, they coalesce each other and form object D that move 5 meters per second to the right. And then C now has moved 18 meters during these 6 seconds. So now the distance between D and C is only 80 meters. It is from 98 minus 18. So 80 meters. And then to find the time at which D and C collide, let's say D and C collide here, for example, collide at this point. So this one is the distance traveled by D, object D, and then this one is the distance traveled by object C. So from this diagram, it is clear that SD plus SC, the total is 80 meters. So we write SD plus SC is equal to 80. SD is 5 times T, and then SC is, the speed of C is 3, so 3 times T is equal to 80. So 8T is equal to 80, so the time is equal to 10 seconds. So this one is also the answer for the time between the two collisions. And then I find the time between the instant that A projected from X and the instant that E reaches Z. So we know that the second collision occurred 16 seconds, which is 6 plus 10, 16 seconds after A was projected. So this one is the time until object E is formed. Now SC here is the distance traveled by object E. SC is the distance traveled by object E until it collides with object D to form object E. So SC is 3 times 16. 16 seconds is the time from object E projected until it collides with object D. So the distance traveled by object C until it collides with object D is 3 times 16, which is 48 meters. And then now, after C collides with D, they form object E. They coalesce and form object E, in which object E move with speed 15 minus V over 4. The V is 3. 15 minus 3 over 4 is 3 meter per second. So we find the time until object E reach point, this one is point Z. So now the time taken until object E reach point Z is the distance is 48 meters, this one, divided by the speed of E 3 meter per second, which is 16 seconds. So the total time between the instant that A is projected from X and the instant that C reaches Z is 6 plus 10, which is 16, plus 16. 16 is the time from the collision of object D and C until the combined particles reaches point Z. So the total time taken is 32 seconds. So this is the last question on this paper, question 7. Two particles P and Q of masses 2.5 kilograms and 0.5 kilograms respectively are connected by a light inextensible string that passes over a small smooth pulley fixed at the top of a plane inclined at an angle 30 degrees to the horizontal. Particle P is on the plane and Q hangs below the pulley such that the level of Q is 2 meters below the level of P. See diagram. Particle P is released from rest with the string taut and slides down the plane. The plane is rough with coefficient of friction 0.2 between the plane and P. A, find the acceleration of Q. So now we complete the diagram. So this is the diagram for object P. The weight is 25 newtons and we can split the weight into WPX parallel to the plane and WPY perpendicular to the plane. WPX is 12.5 Newton while WPY is 21.7 Newton. And then the normal contact force between P and the plane is the same as WPY, which is 21.7 Newton. And the friction force can be found using the coefficient 0.2 times the normal contact force. The friction force is 4.34 newtons. So this is the complete diagram for both particles P and Q. Now, using Newton's second law, the net force is equal to m times A. For particle P, the equation is WPx. Remember, P slides down the plane. So the equation WPx minus T minus the friction force is equal to mass of P times A. So the equation will be 12.5 minus T minus 4.34 equals 2.5A. Substituting the values here to this equation. And then for particle Q, Q will move up. So the equation will be the tension minus 5 is equal to 0.5A. And then adding both equations, we can eliminate the tension and we can find the value of the acceleration. So 3.16 is equal to 3A. The acceleration is 1.05 meter per second square. Part B. Use an energy method to find the speed of the particles at the instant when they are at the same vertical height. So let's say this is the position in which P and Q at the same vertical height, this dotted line. And let's say Q has moved a distance d meter upward, and since the string is taut, P is also moved a distance d meter down the slope. But the vertical distance traveled by P is not d, because d moved on an inclined plane that make angle 30 degrees to the horizontal. Let's say the vertical distance traveled by P is x. So the relation between x and d is x is equal to sine 30 degrees times d. Sine 30 is half. So x is half d. And then, since initially P is 2 meters above Q, so according to this diagram, it is obvious that x plus d is equal to 2 meters. And then replace x with half d, so the equation become half d plus d is equal to 2 meters. 3 over 2d is equal to 2, so d is equal to 4 over 3 meters. Now the question asks us to use energy method to find the speed of the particles. So the formula that we use is this one. Work done by the driving force minus work done by the resistance is equal to the change in potential energy plus the change in kinetic energy. There is no driving force, so the work done by the driving force is 0 minus the work done by resistance. The resistance is the friction force, so 4.34 as we have found before in the previous part. times d, the distance traveled by particle P. And then for the change in potential energy, we have two objects, P and Q. For object Q, since it moves up, then it gains some potential energy. So the potential energy gained by object Q is the mass of Q times gravity times d, because object Q move d meters upward. But there is also change in potential energy for object P, but this time P loses some of its potential energy because particle P moves down x meters downward. So this one negative because particle P moves down and it loses some of its potential energy. And for the change in kinetic energy, since both objects move together, they have the same speed at any instant. So we can combine their mass. You can combine their masses into 3 kilograms, 0.5 plus 2.5. Then V squared minus U squared. And then, since we know the value of D is 4/3, this one we can write into negative 4.34 times 4/3. And then this one 5 times 4/3. This one is 25. And then X is the relation between X and D. X is equal to half D. So X here is 2/3 plus 1.5 V squared. So solving this equation, we can find that V squared is equal to 2.809. V is the square root of this value. The answer is 1.68 meter per second. Okay, students, we have discussed all the questions in this paper. I hope you find this video beneficial for you and can help you in preparing for the Cambridge exam. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video.